Hello, YouTube, and welcome to today's episode of Disappointed Dragon. I have something I think is interesting for today's episode. I have here, I'm just going to zoom in a little bit so you guys can all see it with me, the Star Wars Micro Galaxy Squadron, which is apparently the launch edition, which is a set of one mystery vehicle and figure, who are extremely tiny. And of course, as everyone knows, well, at least if they've watched my videos, I like tiny things. I'm very into miniatures. So back here we can see the actual size. I mean, I don't have a scale, but, you know, about the size of the top of my thumb, about as long as my whole thumb. So it's going to come with a little tiny vehicle and a pilot, and there are a few different options. You've got a scout trooper from Endor, Darth Maul and his little, I guess you'd call it a speeder, I'm not really sure. They're all basically speeders. Ahsoka Tano, what's the Mandalorian's name? Din Djarin, and then a clone trooper and a personal walker. It's pretty neat. Back in the 90s, you used to be able to get the vehicles, and they would always come with the tiny little plastic pilot to stick in it. It was really neat. I had an X-Wing that had Luke and a tiny little R2. But it would always fall apart. The canopy would come off, and I would lose all of his blasters that were on the wings because they would all just peg on. And I might actually still have the cockpit somewhere at my mom's house, just in a drawer somewhere. But these are pretty cool. They were pretty expensive, though, I have to say. They were like, I want to say $7.99 each, so about $10 after taxes for each of these, and that's quite a bit. So we'll have to see if they're really good quality. That would be awesome. I do remember they had Micro Machine branded vehicles from Star Wars that were quite small, but they were just plastic and they weren't altogether that fantastic. One of my favorite things about Micro Machines is they're miniatures, but they're also little tiny toy cars that have spinning wheels and work. So we'll see. We'll see how these are. From looking at the toys, they definitely sit on their vehicles. So I'm pretty excited to see these. So without any further ado, I'm just going to cut the sellotape at the top. And then we'll get into them and see. Hopefully, I know I'm jinxing this by saying it, but hopefully we don't get doubles like this channel is cursed to get. And we'll see what we can get. I'm wondering if there will be a secondary set of these with more vehicles. I guess it'll depend on how well it does, really. So the first one we got is, I hope I'm correct with his name, that this is Din Djarin, the Mandalorian. I'm pretty sure I'm correct on that. We're just going to zoom right in so we can take a look at the little tiny figure. So it's minuscule. It is tiny. For something this small, like you can see, it is small. It's actually fairly detailed. I mean, it's got different colors on it. Clearly, it's not very fully painted or anything, but it actually has, like, joints in its arms. And it has joints in its legs as well. And they're actually on separate joints for the legs. The arms are sharing the same peg all the way through, so they spin together, but that's pretty great. I mean, I wasn't even expecting that much detail on it, and he's actually got the symbol on his arm, shoulder pauldron there, but it's very hard to see. What? And I've dropped him. So now that we've seen him, let's pull out the vehicle and the stand. Okay. So here's the vehicle. The vehicle doesn't have a lot of detailing on it. Like, it's very sparsely painted. But I mean, I guess there isn't really that many colors on these vehicles anyways. So I guess that's not really that surprising. It just goes on the stand like that. Let's put him on the... Let's see, how do we get him to sit on this now? That's the question. So my guess is he's supposed to... Oh, his cape actually comes off. Oh, look at that. His hands actually fit onto the side and are kind of not really pegged on, but they fit just over the sides of the handles there so that he stays on. That's actually pretty cool. It is too bad that the cape doesn't really stay on while he's on the thing, though. I feel like you could bend it to stay on. Like if you heat it up with a hairdryer or something so that it was bent, flowing off the back. But then you wouldn't be able to do anything with them after that. It's pretty cool, though. I do like that. The vehicle itself isn't that fantastic, but I think that's just the vehicle they chose, because it's just a speeder bike. It doesn't really do much of anything. But the little figure is really cool. I do quite like that. What I kind of do wish, and this is just a gripe from me and specifically, is I kind of wish that there was a peg on the stand for him to stand on so that you could secure him in place. Maybe like a little divot to stick his feet in, so that you could have him standing there without having to have him sitting on it, just kind of like that, without him falling over because he's so tiny. But that's just a minor complaint on my part. So far, pretty cool. Not really sure it's worth $10, but remains to be seen. If we don't get doubles, I'll be more inclined to be more forgiving. So, let's see. So the second one, we got the Scout Trooper from Endor with his speeder? I'm not actually sure what this one is called. I'm not sure what either of them is called, to be fair. I do actually have, I bought this way back, a book of all of the vehicles from Star Wars, and they had like technical readouts for them and blueprints and stuff. It was a pretty cool thing. But it's been a long time since I've looked at it. Take a quick look at this guy. He looks pretty good. I mean, again, not fully painted, but with a lot more color than I would have expected from something, you know, the size of my thumbnail. So, yeah, it's pretty cool. It's recognizable as what it is. And what paint there is not particularly muddy. It is a little bit, but I mean, again, it's so small that I'm not that surprised. And this vehicle is actually just I like this one a bit better because it has a bit more detailing on it, as in with the metallic paint. The other one is very sand colored, which is to be expected. But it's this one has a lot more color to it, so I'm pretty happy with that. And again, can he sit on the thingy? He doesn't sit quite as well. Is he supposed to sit backwards on the thing? No, I don't think so. Honestly, I haven't watched this one in such a long time. It's kind of, he doesn't sit on it as well as Jaren does. I think he's supposed to lean forward like this and kind of zoom along. The issue I have with this one here is that, as you can see, the handles are real bent. Not impossible to fix or anything. Like, I mean, you just kind of pull them out and they're already straightened up. But if you were to heat that up with like a hairdryer or something, it would straighten out real easily. But yeah, this one's a bit damaged in the packaging, it looks like, but that's fine. It's small and rubber. It's not like it's going to come apart. Well, the Stormtrooper doesn't really stand. There we go. So, final thoughts on these things. I like them. I love miniatures. Just because they're little rubber things, I'm not super into them. I just like the Return of the Tiny Pilots, and if you have any of those older vehicles, you could definitely fit them in. I actually did find a TIE Interceptor recently that had the little Stormtrooper in it. Maybe if I can find it, I'll pull it out in one of the future videos, but that'll do it for this video, guys. As always, stay happy, stay healthy, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye!